I'm going to share an amazing story with you today on why they call me Coach. And if I can, you can. You see, something happens when you meet people. One of the first things that they do is they walk up to you and they ask you, what is your name? What is it that you do? And those two questions, I always thought to myself, that's a simple answer. Coach. I coach, and they call me Coach. You see, 27 years ago, there's something that happened that changed the course of my life forever. I was a young man growing up in the inner city of Houston, a family of 7, single mom, 7 kids, and I met a coach at a gym. And this coach offered me an opportunity to go to a basketball camp. This basketball camp wasn't an ordinary basketball camp. It was a Hall of Famer, Pistol Pete Maravich. I didn't really know who he was or what the camp was all about. I'd never been to a camp. Just a kid growing up in the city. Until one day, I got to the camp, and Pistol Pete Maravich asked me to have lunch with me. And I thought to myself, wow, Pistol Pete Maravich, a Hall of Fame basketball player, wants to have lunch with Stephon Leary. I've made it. I've arrived. Unfortunately, that lunch turned out to be one of the greatest lessons of my life, but also one of the most devastating things I've heard in my life. Pistol Pete Maravich was not just a Hall of Fame basketball player, he was a Hall of Fame man. He taught me the greatest lesson that I ever learned in my life, and it's that character. You see, I was pretty good at his camp, all right? My team went undefeated. I was dominating the game, but I had a terrible attitude. And he sat me down at that lunch, and he told me, I invited you to lunch because I wanted to personally tell you that I usually give out an MVP award or a Most Outstanding Player award, and I'm not going to give you that award. Although your team went undefeated, although you're the best player here, I can't give you the award. And he told me these words: your character doesn't fit the award. It changed my life. But in that moment, I was devastated. Being an inner city kid, all you're taught to do is to compete, to win at all costs. And my competing to win, this time, I didn't get the ultimate prize. That evening, something happened in my life. Pistol Pete Maravich shared his testimony about him becoming an all-time great basketball player. And the one thing that almost cost him his career and his life was his attitude. And it was on that night, June 18th, 1986, the course of Stephon Leary's life changed. You see, I became a Christian that night. And becoming a Christian, I began to understand the important things in life. Living life the right way. Living life with character. Continuing to work hard, but treating others the way that you would want to be treated. And after returning home, you see, growing up in the inner city, you don't really realize all of the drugs, the alcohol, the gangs and crime. You don't really realize that those things are a problem until you get outside of them or until the lights come on and you see them as a problem. When you're in it, you're just trying to survive it. I came back and it was like the lights turned on for me. And I began to be uncomfortable in my situation, in my environment. And I wanted something better for myself. It was like something inside of me said, there is something greater than where I am and what I can do with my life. Using the talents and skills that I had as an athlete, Sports saved my life. I love sports. I'm a coach. I've coached every sport. I love sports. It saved my life. It kept me from running to gangs and in the streets and making bad decisions in my life. And I began to think I could be somebody. I returned to this gym and I met this coach who took me to the camp, and something amazing happened. He offered me an opportunity to go to a Christian school. I thought, Christian school? What is that? I didn't know what a Christian school was. I'm from the inner city. We have schools. And so I thought, okay, let me check it out. And so I went. And I went to this prayer meeting at 5 o'clock in the morning. Have you ever sat around and had like a Disney-like moment? I had a Disney-like moment. I had a Disney-like experience. I thought I met an angel this morning. You see, after this prayer meeting, this white woman, me being black, an inner city kid, she comes up to me and asks me, what am I doing here? And I thought, I'm with him. I didn't know what to say. I was sort of intimidated. I was like, And she said, that's ironic. While we were praying, there's something that told me to offer you a place to live. And I thought, me? Live with you? Me black? You white? Okay. I'm just taking all of it in. But in that moment, I thought, wow, someone would want me to be a part of their family? A stranger. Never met her before. She must be an angel. I went to visit this family. I walked through the doors. 3 brothers, Jacob, Scott, Billy. I met those guys and I realized, oh, they were at the camp. Wow. What a story. How ironic that this would happen. An amazing situation. I met the dad, who was also Dave Johnson, who was also at the prayer meeting, but he had to run off for work. And then I met the most wonderful young lady I've ever met in my life, and still today, that's my girl. I met this little blonde-haired girl about 9 years old. Her name's Jessica Johnson. Jessica runs up to me, jumps in my arm, hugs my neck, kisses me on the cheek, and said, are you going to be my big brother? Imagine the love, the acceptance. You see, I grew up in a situation where love wasn't shared. I grew up in poverty, grew up in abuse, neglect, rejection, lack of structure, no discipline, lack of education. I'm the only one in my family to graduate from high school, let alone a college degree. A change in zip codes from the inner city to the suburbs. A change of culture, a change of discipline, a change of life as I knew it allowed for this young man to get a 4.0 my senior year. I earned a college scholarship to play basketball at Liberty University. Tried to play a little professional basketball after that, but knee injuries cost me. I ended up getting into coaching. 1993, I became a coach, and guess where I went back to coach? That high school that I went to my senior year. I went back and I built an athletic program where we won state championships in basketball and football and softball. All of these things that we accomplished. And I thought to myself, if I can, you can. You see, you are special. You are special. I had a professor in college, and I thought he was the weirdest guy ever. He used to start class, and he would say, hug yourself, hug yourself. And I would be like, well, where are we going with this, brother? But I hugged myself. And then he said, I want you to say these words. I am special. And so I did. I hugged myself. I am special. If only I knew then what I know now, I would have understood just what he's telling me. You see, I want you to know you are special. God's created you with purpose. There are seeds of greatness on the inside of each and every one that God's created. I truly believe that. I believe if you water those seeds as you would do plants, if you fertilize that ground, if you continue to prune and you continue to work and work and work, you can accomplish every dream and every goal that you have in your life. You must believe in yourself. You must believe that you're special. You must believe that you can, and I'm here to tell you that if I can, you can. You cannot let excuses hold you back or your past experience, someone who hurt you, someone who let you down, the fears, the insecurities, the neglect, the failures. Don't let those things hold you back and keep you from pursuing your greatness. Jeremiah 29:11. It's a scripture in the Bible that I love so much. And as a coach, I tell all my kids, God has a plan for you. And it says, for God has a plan for you, a purpose for you, to give you a hope and a future and not to harm you. So many times things happen in our life where we want to blame God for why things are going wrong. And what he's doing is he's preparing you and shaping you for greatness. If you only knew that he wants to use the pain that you're suffering from, the past that you come from, the situation that you sit in today, he wants to take that and form you and make you into something that he can use to impact this world. And if I can do it, you can do it. You can do this. And as a coach, I say this to you. It's time. It's time to get off that bench and get in the game. Get in the game of life. Don't let the mistakes and failures of past things hold you back. Pursue greatness with all of your heart. Get off that bench and get in the game. Be a part of something that allows for you to grow into who God wants you to be. Make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Every opportunity. It may look a little different. It did for me. An inner city black kid who was adopted by a white family, who taught me the ways of the world, to do the right thing, to honor God in my life, to have character in my life. And trust me, I've had my fears. I've had my failures. I've experienced some bumpy roads along the way, but I'm here. I recently wrote a book on They Call Me Coach. And this book outlines my journey of being able to become a coach and impact the lives of the young people that I've been able to impact. I built a business of training and basketball business. And in my training, I came up with a technique. And this technique led me to invent a boot, an athletic training and rehabilitation boot. And I'm thinking to myself, me? I received a patent in the mail from the U.S. government. It's a gold seal that's on there. It has a number on there, US 9397374B2. That number means so much to me. You know why? Because they hand out numbers to people who go to jail. And so many of my siblings and people around me have gone to jail. I take that with all my heart. But I want you to know today, if I can become a coach, if I can become a businessman, if I can overcome my fears and failure and the poverty in which I came out of, to write a book, to invent a patent, a shoe, if I can, you can. Thank you. you.